So today, you're a strategic advisor to businesses. Obviously, you're a CPA, you're an attorney, and you've got clients in almost every industry. Um, what do you see business owners struggling with?
People.
People.
I mean, it's universal. I just think there's a confluence of a great economy sucked up a lot of people, and then the COVID and the work from home situation, and now people, I mean, just in the last 2 weeks, I've had 3 interviews cancel the day of the interview, and these
Mm,
are high level jobs, which nobody ever did. I mean, even if they weren't going to show up, they'd call you a week before and say, I don't know if they got a better job offer, but there's not enough skilled people and too many job openings. And I think the seller's market is taxing on business owners, and they're not used to that. I mean, it happens. I hate to say this, but a lot of them are like, what we need now is a good recession to sort of tighten up the job market so I can find some better people. I don't think that's necessarily the answer. That is what's going to happen, but right now, and the other thing I would say is maybe a little bit, banks are sort of pulling in their horns. So access to capital is not what it was, you know, uh, pre-COVID. I think even though a lot of businesses got a lot of money handed to them through the PPP program and the ERC, so their balance sheets are strong. They don't necessarily need a lot of borrowing. And I don't know, now that there's potential recession and inflation, I think banks, they haven't lent money in a long time because people haven't needed it. Now I think they're assessing the risk, frankly, a little bit too tightly. I just had a conversation yesterday with a consultant that I'm working with who's trying to find some financing for an acquisition, and some of the numbers he's being quoted are really that it's the bank's appetite. It's a big bank is very low,
yes.
which is surprising.
Yeah. I went for a haircut yesterday, as you can
Yeah, it
see.
looks very nice.
It didn't exactly go as I'd intended. I got more than I wanted to pay for.
Well, I think you got your
And
money's worth.
no, I definitely got something. Um, but I was talking to the barber, young guy, probably late 20s, um, from Minnesota, graphic designer, um, come from a really impressive role with a corporation, and told me, I just, I didn't want to work that hard. I didn't, you know, I was working 40 hours, and then, there were nights where I would have to come home um, and work on projects. And so I quit. And he said, I do this part time, and I work at a beer distributorship part time. And I'm seeing a lot of that. I'm hearing a lot of that. But I'm wondering, like, where does that go? Maybe at 28 that works. Maybe at 28 and single that works.
Right.
What does that look like at 38? What does that look like at 48? What does that look like, with a family? Um, and will these people be forced back into more traditional work roles? Um, and and will they bring a resentment with them that is difficult to lead and manage?
Great question. I mean, I sort of been through this a couple different times, with having been an employer for almost 40 years. It's like, oh, well, you have to treat Jen fill in the blank this way. Or what I've found over time is, once people sort of um, move on with their life and, find a partner and have children, everybody kind of responds pretty much the same. However, I think the whole COVID and the work from home, and I also think that there's the basic affluence of people growing up with not that many, they don't really have that many wants. And parents have made it a little bit easier for them. I don't want to say the safety net has become a hammock, but I think in certain instances that it has. And I know I didn't have anything when I started to work, and I really, used car and a few dollars, and so I really was motivated by trying to have some creature comforts, right? I think that the base level of comforts is for most 28-year-olds, unless they grew up impoverished, is probably pretty high.
Yeah.
They got a car, they probably have an apartment, and cars either paid for, or maybe parents helped them with that. Maybe they helped them with their apartment. So it's I think the gravy train will run out, or else it'll just wake up one day and say, "Hey, I'm not really a contributing member of society like I wanted to, and I think I'd like a lifestyle a little more secure." I hope that happens, because
Yeah.
it's. I mean, you would think of all the professions in the world, the people that would least likely to sort of move that way would be CPAs, but even in that milieu, it's hard to find people who, oh, gee, can I really work? Can I work from home and come in 2 days? And it's like, nah, that's not how we operate here. So it's difficult. It's very difficult.